Cactus Jack, he's back.
Cactus Jackson.
Potty Talk once again. We do have a guest today.
Something or another.
Episode something or another?
Mm-hmm.
All right, come on in, Courtney. Let's bring it in.
Bring it on!
Courtney's made it. Hello, Courtney.
Hello, guys. Thank you for
Dennis
having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
So,
you.
another cherished coworker from Joe's, of course. But if you could tell us a little something else about yourself, Courtney, maybe make an introduction for us, please.
Okay. I've been in Wilmington for about 10 years, originally from Pennsylvania, traveled all over the world, and ended up here surfing and just living life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I do want to start prompting our friends coming in and be like, what's a label you'd give yourself? And surfer is one I was like hoping we'd latch into.
Yeah.
So I think that's a...
You give us surfer back.
Yeah. How long have you been surfing?
Let's see. I think it's about 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you start?
I started in Japan, actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
Talk
So
about
the
that.
weird thing is I've always wanted to be a surfer.
Mhm.
Ever since I was 13, I would like geek out, like buy surfing mags. Like even though I didn't surf, you know, I was like an hour away from the beach in Pennsylvania, and I just didn't know any surfers or anybody who surfed. But I was a swimmer and always loved the water.
Okay.
You know, my dad would take us to the Jersey Shore like on the weekends in the summer and stuff, so I just always had that affinity with the water, but never got a real chance to until I was about 29 and I was living in Japan.
Nice.
And I was driving to work every day, and I was on my way to work, I would pass the surfing beach, and I would just go there like every morning and just like scope out the scene, like,
Okay.
oh, okay, am I gonna do this? Like, am I just gonna start surfing in Japan? Like, I might as well, I waited this
Might as
long.
well.
You know, it's just like, the time is now, you know? So, yeah, that's what I ended up doing. I ended up kind of chit-chatting with some locals, because I lived out in the countryside, so it was like,
Okay.
you know, I didn't know what was going on, you know, I speak the language, you know, a little bit, but I'm not fluent.
I was about
you
to
know?
ask if you were
Not.
speaking to them in English or Japanese.
Japanese.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I would go down there every day. So they kind of had seen me,
Mhm.
and yeah. Then one day I was just asked one of the guys, local surfer guys, like, yeah, is there? And this is all in Japanese. Like, is there anywhere around here to buy a surfboard? And he was like, yeah, that fishing store
Okay.
on the side of the road. It's like this mom and pop fishing store,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm thinking, okay, I know what they're talking about, but that's like a fishing tackle store.
That's my kind of story.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the middle of like green tea fields, sweet potatoes, okra, like
Wow.
farming community.
Okay.
Like nothing's really like that rural in Japan, you know,
Sure.
because it's just a kind of like smallish
Right.
island compared to like other places. So I go to the store and I'm like, hello, do you have surfboards here? It's like obviously just like fishing stuff, you know?
Surfboard's not on the wall.
No, just fishing stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you want my son? And I was like, oh, okay. So she takes me out to the back room and like introduces me to her son, who had like a little shaping room, and he was fixing surfboards, and I think he was shaping maybe some of his own. And I ended up buying this like $200 like beater, old twin fin glassed on surfboard from him that was like, I mean, it was kind of a wreck, but I was like, I don't even care.
For
I just, like,
$200?
yeah, $200.
That's a lot for something.
No, I thought it was cheap.
Okay, so surfing in Japan, where you picked it up, what else was going on in Japan? How long were you there? What's the deal with Japan?
Well, I was there twice for a total of 3.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, all teaching English.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first time I was teaching in like what they call a eikaiwa, which is like a kind of like an after school program. Like they would go to English class like kind of how people would go to piano lessons or ballet lessons. Their like hobby would be like get better at English.
What?
So I kind of, and so I was teaching children ages like 0. Like I had a 6-month-old baby once.
No way.
That was crazy.
That's
Up
the first.
to pretty much like 18-ish. Yeah.
And all in the same class.
No, not all in the same class.
Okay.
No, these are all different levels.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the age range that I was teaching.
Yeah, 0-year-old.
Right, I'm wondering how you did, like what the baby education is.
Well, they actually didn't have like, so most of the curriculum was like very like planned out. It was like they had a like systematic
Okay.
teaching system. So like teach some vocab, teach the sentence structure, teach a question, and then like combined it all. But like obviously with the baby, like he didn't even speak Japanese.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing. So it was really
He
interesting.
didn't even
So
speak.
yeah, I had to make that one up, and it was like a half an hour lesson, which is like sounds short, but when it's with a baby, you're like, oh my god, I've got to prepare like 20 different things.
Right.
We got to change like every minute or two.
It's a monologue.
Yeah, so it was really interesting, but I don't know, like I think halfway through teaching this baby, he started speaking, and he was just like parroting me.
Wow.
And I was like the first time I heard him speak, like obviously the mom, had already heard his first words, so she wasn't as surprised as I was, but
He wasn't.
I was like, I've never heard this baby say anything, and so when he started like mimicking me, whatever we were doing, like alphabet or something, and he would touch it and say what letter it was, I was like, oh my god, he's
Yeah.
speaking!
That's incredible.
It was really cool, and I mean, of course, perfect accent, right?
Yeah.
It
Wow.
wasn't like he had a Japanese accent speaking English. He had a perfect English accent.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
What's up?
in baby talk, but it was pretty amazing.
The perfect baby accent.
You should have given him a New York accent.
Yeah.
Taught him what gabagool is.
What was that?
Capicola. We sell it. It's the meats.
Oh,
Gabagool is capicola.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like a salami, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
Tom
okay.
told me that.
Yeah. Wow, that's hilarious.
That'd be cool, a little baby with a New York accent.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
You would love that.
I
James.
love
would.
Japanese baby.
That'd be
yeah.
awesome. Actually, I have a quick funny story real quick about like kids talking. So you know how like it's not that like different in other countries. They learn their language, we learn ours. But my mom took her parents' grandpa over to Poland because that's where we're all like natives, sort of, or that's where we're from. And grandpa he like got so amazed when he saw the little kids. He's like, even the kids speak Polish. Like,
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, he was just so fascinated
Is that-
they spoke.
Is that Grandpa Joe?
No,
Okay, other grandpa.
I never met them. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Wow.
this is grandpa.
Okay. We talked about Grandpa Joe recently, who fought in World War II, so I wasn't
Oh,
sure,
wow.
trying to make connections here, but
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the family tree, of course,
Yeah,
many
Grandpa Joe
branches.
and Grandpa Steve.
Okay, nice. Okay, so back to traveling. We got some Japan orientation. I think we've talked about you going to Costa Rica, right? Surfing hotspot. You've been to Costa Rica, haven't you?
I've been there, yeah. I've been to Puerto
Never.
Rico,
Okay.
more than Costa Rica, but I have been
What
to
do you like
both.
better?
Well, I've been to Puerto Rico more times, so I think I would have to go back to Costa Rica and, see
Give it some love.
see what's going on there again.
They got
Okay.
some cool fishing opportunities.
Do they?
Mm.
Nice.
All right. Japan, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica. Any other hot spots and
Hawaii, right?
great destinations you've checked out? And
Yeah, me and my one really good friend who was actually in Japan with me, but I knew her beforehand. She's kind of my best friend from college days. Like I've known her since 18. We went and did backpacking all around Southeast Asia
Nice.
for like 3 months. So that was fun. I've been to Nepal. That was amazing. New Zealand, amazing.
Nice. Okay, so yeah.
I haven't made it to Europe. I haven't really made it to South America.
Okay. I haven't been to Europe or South
Or
America
Africa.
either. Or Africa.
Or Australia, really. I was in the airport, but that doesn't freaking count.
You've been to New Zealand and Southeast Asia, but not Australia down there as well.
Yeah, I did a study abroad in New Zealand for
Okay.
a month, so that's
That'd
why
be
I was
cool.
there. Yeah, it was really cool country, so that would be
Yeah, I
awesome
haven't
to
been
go
to
back to.
Antarctica, I bet.
No, I haven't been there.
That's like scientists, you like,
Yeah, or penguins.
or penguins, yeah.
Or penguin scientists.
Yeah, I think I'd rather come back as a penguin.
That'd be cool.
Come back as a penguin. That might be a nice question too to add. If you're reincarnated,
Yeah,
what
what
do you
animal?
hope to be, or what
Oh my
would
God.
you be? Yeah.
Yeah.
A glass of water.
You think? I guess water might be alive. There's living things in water a lot of times.
Oh God. Don't
Well,
say
have you guys
that.
ever seen the experiment that the Japanese, I think it was scientists, did with water?
Mm-mm.
No, I forget his name, but he would take the water and say like positive things to it, like I love you, joy, happiness,
Why?
bliss.
Yeah.
And then I think he froze the water and would take a picture of what the crystals look like,
Okay.
and they'd be all beautiful, and then other ones that were neglected or said like hateful, negative things to, and they're like very deformed looking.
Weird.
Yeah. I think his name was Emoto.
Okay.
Emoto. But yeah, it's like all documented.
The frozen ice crystal structures were different based
Very
on
different.
how the
How they were
water
taught
was
to.
nurtured.
Hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Looks like we got homework to do to check and
Yeah.
check his work.
Yeah.
Check his work.
I
Fact
don't know
check.
if I have a microscope to check out crystals.
Yeah.
If you guys want to invest in my scientific discoveries, please drop dollars.
Invest in Jackson's microscope fund.
Yes, please. Dubs in the chat,
I'm
guys.
giving you $1.
All right.
Woo.
$1 closer. I would do like 2,500 more, please.
Okay, so we covered some surfing. How about photography? Did you mention photography earlier?
Yeah, I used to love photography.
Okay.
It was like a passion of mine.
Yeah.
But it was like back in the day when it was like darkroom photography,
What
like
does that
film photography, like pre-digital
Pre-
photography.
Pre-digital.
Like we're talking about
Pre-digital out
like
there,
Kodaks,
guys.
where you have to like
Yeah, like I would go.
flap the piece of paper.
Yeah,
together.
go into the dark room, take the film out, roll it on this like metal reel thing that spiraled out, and put all the chemicals in, develop it, take the film out, see if you did it right, see if you burnt any of it, or if you know, messed up somehow with your exposures, hang it up to dry,
Oh, wow.
go in the dark room, get your paper out, the enlarger, do all your test strips, all the chemicals.
Now you can just pull out your phone and go beep
Yeah, it's just totally different. Like,
It's too easy now, huh?
well, I
in
mean,
a good way.
yeah, I think it's cool, but I think maybe the old way was like more of an art form in that
Right.
But you
respect
don't know what you're
because,
taking a picture of.
well, I mean, you do
But
if
you
you're
know.
like skilled.
But like you don't know, like I don't know, you don't know how the colors are gonna turn out. You don't know if it'll look good.
Right.
So right, I was thinking you do know what you're taking a picture
Yeah,
of.
but you don't know how it's gonna.
You don't know how the photograph will
Is that
develop.
where the good part comes in?
I think that's where like over time, right? And like as you learn
You
your
know how to
exposures
angle it
and all that stuff, like that's where you become like a master of those kinds of things.
I'm pretty good at it, but
Um,
like with when I know exactly what I look like.
What's that?
I like taking photos too, but you know I just do it on the phone.
Yeah, I know,
It's
me
kinda
too.
cheating. Like it's just like.
Yeah, I mean, I never print anything out now. Like I used to print stuff out.
And
so
yes,
that's
guys,
pretty cool.
I know what a VHS and like all those digital tape things are. I know what a Polaroid is.
Yeah, Polaroids are so cool. I love Polaroids.
Yeah, they're fun. Are they still in business?
I don't know. Are they?
Yeah, I mean, like
Nobody knows.
Well, it's weird because like Polaroid photography, like I think
Actually, yeah, that's making a comeback.
right, and yeah, it's like that's always a thing. Like
Yeah.
people like to have that as like a party trick or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I should-
But
I got one of those.
Polaroid itself, who knows about the company, but like that's one of those
Yeah.
things like that photography style has assumed the brand name
Yeah.
in the way that Kleenex and Xerox. So that's fascinating. That Polaroid's a good example of.
Do you want to insert a commercial break and I'll show them that Polaroid?
Ooh,
What?
Boom.
You got a Polaroid?
You got a Polaroid for us,
I
Jackson?
do.
Oh, it's one of the little
Rachel.
ones too. The Polaroid Mini.
Polaroid Mini.
That's that.
Oh,
right?
dude, I recognize somebody. You and Seth.
Yep.
Maybe
Oh my
Alicia's
goodness.
in there. I don't know.
Yeah, she's on the side there. There's Seth.
Nice.
If you want to show a nice dark
Yeah.
and stormy Polaroid to
Yeah.
our friends.
We got me, Seth, Alicia. That's about it that we can see. But Dark and Stormy is a fun night. Fun people.
Where is that at?
Downtown.
Is that Varnish?
Yeah.
Or it was that night?
hmm
Oh wow.
When Seth,
Got tased?
yeah.
Okay.
What?
Somebody had a taser in their purse, and then
Sarah
He
did.
got tased?
and then we were playing with the taser at the end of the night at like 4 a.m. on the
He wanted to.
Yeah, it was
Was he on the ground?
Oh,
No.
yes.
What?
Yeah, he like rolled around on the ground for a minute. He did. I was there, man.
I was there too, and I don't remember that.
Trust
I think
me.
this is a Pac-Man case over here, dude.
No.
This is a case of the missing Pac-Man stories over here. Okay, so a little bit of photography. You went to school for photography, correct?
I didn't. Well, I went to school for film studies, but I mainly did film studies so I could take all the photography
Fascinating.
courses in
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like honestly, I probably should have just gone to photography school. That probably would have worked out a lot better for me.
Yeah.
Did you go?
But I didn't. Yes, and I went to Pitts, and they don't have production,
Okay.
like photography or filming school. So it was all through Pittsburgh Filmmakers, which was like a totally different school.
Hmm.
It was like just for that.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to get classes. You can only get like one class a semester
Okay.
in like you
One
know,
class. Is
well, for photography.
We must have talked about the film studies, film major stuff before, because I was a film major as an undergrad.
Okay.
So, but we've been working together for about 5, maybe 6 years at this
Yeah,
point, right?
almost 6 years.
Yeah. So we probably talked about this 5
Yeah.
or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
Because you're like,
Yeah.
who are you?
Who are you? What's up? New
I always
person?
thought you were an English major, I guess. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know
Well, I mean, as an undergrad, I was a double major, English
Okay.
and film, and then I came here for creative writing.
that. Okay, that's
Um,
why.
But yeah, anyway,
It allows you to be creative.
creative filming. That's what we're doing now.
We are.
We got it. All right, I'm gonna jump into the deep end of the pool here.
Okay.
Courtney, you got any insights into the meaning of life?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I honestly like think about this like all the time. 'Cause
Perfect.
I'm always
Wow. We
thinking
got
about stuff like this, you know, and like what am I here for? What is my purpose on this planet? Like, you know, to the point where it can kind of drive you crazy. So,
I got you. Don't worry.
yeah, but honestly, I think what I've come to realize is that like we give everything the meaning that it has, right? So like your meaning of life, your meaning of life, my meaning of life could all be like different paths, and they might have like an underlying current of like giving back or service or
Yeah.
love. You can call it like many things.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I would say the things that are like when I feel the best in my life and I feel like most aligned with probably what I'm here to do is like, yeah, when I am being truly helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that could take many forms, right? Like something as simple as Trader Joe's, let's say, and really trying to help that person find the mustard they want, right? Or something bigger.
Yeah.
You know, something like, I don't know, like, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm abundant enough to like give to this charity that's like breaking my heart right now, right? Instead of just being sad about it, like I can take action and actually do something for this,
Right.
right? Like, so I guess, yeah, like having that meaning of like okay, these things are moving me from my heart, and like I'm doing something about it, right? Because that's, in the past, I feel like I would just get stuck in like the suffering of it and just be sad, like, you know, because there's tons of things in the world to be sad about, right? And
Right.
I feel like I can like stew in that a bit, and so now like learning, like, hey, yeah, I can stew in it, but that doesn't really, it's not really being helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So taking action on the things that are like kind of moving me in my heart is what I'm seeing the meaning of life is for me.
Yeah.
Does
That's
that
beautiful.
make sense?
That makes sense. That's beautiful. I particularly liked your moment of saying, like, don't get stuck in the suffering. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's something for everybody. You know,
Yeah.
some people might already recognize that, and it's like, no, let's keep moving, let's keep helping, let's keep loving. But
Yeah.
I think a
Try
lot of
not
people.
to these days, yeah.
What's that?
There's a lot of suffering these days.
Right. So yeah, I think a lot of people might do well with that message of let's not get stuck in the suffering.
Yeah, because I can get completely stuck there.
Right.
And just do nothing, and it's like debilitating, right? Like you end up like doing nothing
Yeah.
except like wallowing
Yeah.
and then kind of forgetting and moving on and like not really doing anything. I
Right.
guess.
We're not gonna wallow. We're not gonna stew. We're not gonna get stuck. We're gonna stay afloat.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay positive. We're gonna try to do better.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I think that's
yeah.
the part I was missing was like the action part. You
Okay.
know, like, okay, like, let's move it forward.
Yeah.
Something that like during COVID and stuff. So like the news shows, we all, at least we do, we watch the news a lot, and I mean really on the news they only show you the bad things. You only see like what's happening overseas, what's happening here.
Oh no.
Come on, like ill adjust. So they only see the bad things on the news, but it's like, why don't they ever show the good news? So over COVID, the actor John Krasinski, most famously known for The Office, he made like this YouTube segment, which he hasn't posted in a couple of years, unfortunately, but he posted something called Some Good News, and he would post like only the good. Did you watch it?
I've seen some of
Yeah,
it.
it'd be like only the
Yeah.
good. It was so cool, just like showing like all these positive clips.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like what you said, like you
Yeah,
know,
what
only
you
see-
focus on
Yeah.
expands.
Exactly. So if you only
Yeah.
see the bad stuff, that's all you're gonna see.
Right. I actually stopped watching TV,
Mhm.
so I've been like
That's
detoxing from that since October, and it's been
Nice.
pretty amazing.
Do you still have a TV? You just don't watch it?
I still have a TV. Yeah, I'll watch stuff on YouTube, like
Okay.
stuff I'm looking up personally, but I don't flood myself with random stuff.
Right.
So at my previous job at the frame shop, there was a TV on 5 days a week, 7 or 8 hours a day,
Right.
crap TV all day long in my
Daytime.
ear, daytime, 10 to 5,
Yeah.
and I just had my limit.
You
You
got
know,
some
so-
beef with the frame game.
Now I do not watch TV. I don't watch TV. Actually, I don't even have like basic cable or anything,
Right.
so I don't even think the TV works other than connected to the internet.
Wow.
YouTube.
I think you and I have talked about that before of like
Yeah.
the crappy daytime TV
Oh,
flooding the senses at
And all the commercials too.
Right.
All these commercials.
Oh, it's
I'm like, oh my
ridiculous.
gosh, they
Yeah.
have to get out of my head,
Yeah.
please.
Wow.
All these drug commercials for every
Yeah.
kind of drug.
It's like drugs
Possible.
and life insurance. It's like,
Yes. Yeah. Drugs and
like
life
so
insurance.
boring and depressing. I'm just like,
Yeah, it's
well, because
very
like,
depressing.
yeah, it's
Wow.
Yeah. So just removing that. Just removing the things that like aren't useful.
Right. Yeah. I think in the fall of 2021, I got off Twitter, or I deleted Twitter from my phone. So I
Yeah.
stopped checking it on my phone, and I don't. Maybe I'll get on like a couple times a year at this
Yeah.
point, like on my computer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I feel like my mental health is way better now that I'm not just doom scrolling.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
all my
watch
notifications
Twitter.
for social media are turned off, so
Yeah.
I like almost never go on them.
Yeah. Wow.
You have to like remember to go on them.
Except for Discord.
Except for Discord.
Is that you, Discord? You
No,
don't
she's
for-
on Discord.
Really? Okay.
We were sitting in the break room one time, and I was like, I like to screen peek. So I was like, you're on Discord, and she's like, what?
Screen Peek in
Wow,
Jackson.
I didn't know that was a thing. It's like a new
Maybe
hobby,
she's on
huh?
Stormy P's server.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so we've talked a little surfing, we've talked a little travel, we've talked a little photography, meaning of life was nice. Oh, wait, what did we say earlier? What you said, what you focus on expands?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool phrase. Also, I feel like that resonates a little bit with the Japanese scientists talking nice to the water in a certain way. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it might not be expansion, but like the expansion of beauty. As you're like focusing on like, let's make this like water nice and loved.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That is interesting.
Don't hate the water.
Don't hate the water.
water.
But
Water's life.
Water's life, but we got to respect the water and
Yeah.
not just dump all our chemicals into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm guilty of it, but geez, there's some way worse culprits out here. Looking at you, Chemours. Marshmallow time.
Alright, now's the easy part.
Marshmallows?
No, I've always wanted to say that because like on complex sneakers, they're like, alright, we've talked about everything. Now's the easy part. Browse the shelves. See what you're gonna take home. Alright. So, anyways, just a little sneaker talk. Now's the easy part. How do you like your marshmallow?
When you're
like
roasting,
toasted?
yeah, when you're roasting your
You
marshmallow.
roast it, you toast it, you burn it.
Yeah, I don't want it black, like blackened, you know?
No char.
No, I think it should be like a nice
She says char is
toasty
so
brown.
fun. Man, we got a lot of golden brown people.
Golden brown, yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, golden brown.
that's how I like mine.
I just set mine ablaze.
Yeah, you like it just flame broiled?
Yep. The blacker the better.
Wow, really? I mean, but you still want to eat the marshmallow.
Oh yeah.
So
But you gotta have the whole outside cooked,
Okay.
like black.
Oh,
And
okay.
So when you like touch it just crumbles off.
Oh.
It's all gooey on the inside. Then you smash it on the little sandwich stuff, and it's like oozing out. It's like meh.
Are you a s'mores gal, Courtney?
I couldn't tell you the last time I had a s'more.
Okay.
But I'm not against them.
Okay.
I would eat one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The marshmallow question is fun because we've incorporated that into our like regular
Yeah.
slate of
I haven't
questions.
been camping in a while, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like some people are like, yeah, marshmallows. Some people are like, yeah, you know, like sure, a little toasted, whatever.
Somebody was telling me they would like that was their midnight snack or something.
What?
Really?
Like yesterday. I
No
can't
way.
remember who it was. Somebody
That's
we work
goofy.
with.
Okay.
They're weird
Yeah,
for
it was
that.
like I love
gotta watch out for that
marshmallows.
person.
It's like my snack.
Yeah. What was growing up for you? Like, what part of Pennsylvania were you?
Half an hour north of Philly, so
Okay.
very suburban.
Suburban.
Yes.
Okay. Not
Very-
rural.
Not rural.
Not mountainous.
No.
Okay.
I grew up right across the river from Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay.
So pretty much like where Washington crossed the Delaware, right there.
And then, is it the Delaware River that's between Jersey and Pennsylvania?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do a reenactment of it on Christmas Day.
Okay. Wow.
And it's, I went once. It's like a free thing that they do every year.
Yeah.
They have volunteers who like dress up in the old uniforms, which are just random stuff because I don't think they have like a cohesive thing. So it's just random, you know, old uniforms.
Right. It's the beginning of the U.S. Army. They didn't have the. Like,
yeah, it was just like whatever
regular-
you could like get, I guess, at
yeah.
that point.
Wild.
And then yeah, they take the old boat and they try to cross the Delaware,
They try.
and they usually end up having to get saved.
Okay. I was like,
because
where's?
the current is crazy.
Okay.
And it's just like oar paddles and like, and yeah, they usually end up like having to get rescued.
Fascinating.
They don't make it across.
Then how did Washington do it? He's just a real G.
Just pure willpower, I guess.
Will and determination.
Yeah, I mean, it
If
was
they
like
really wanted
icy.
to
I think it was, they were
reenact
like
it.
breaking through ice and it was
Yeah.
like nasty.
He was
Yeah.
like standing out, he was like, charge.
We're doing it.
Back in the 1770s, you know, when men were men.
Yes.
Not
what are they
not
now?
these not our soft marshmallow eating boys we are now.
That's what I'm saying. Not I, though.
Not I. All right, Courtney. I'm not gonna put you on blast and be like, "How old are you?" But I don't know how old you are, and I've always been
I
curious.
don't mind telling you.
Well, if you want to put that out there, that's fine. But I'm curious about:
Okay.
do you consider yourself a child of the '80s or a child of the '90s? Or
The
like,
80s.
okay.
Yeah.
And I guess like child might be not necessarily what I'm really asking, but like you identify more with the 80s, or do you identify more with the 90s?
Well, I mean, growing up, my early years
Okay.
were the 80s,
Okay.
and then my teen years are the 90s.
Okay. So right, and that's why I was like, when I said child, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that might be skewing more younger
Yeah.
than I mean. Because yeah, like my childhood was the 90s, and then my teen years were the aughts, if we're gonna call them that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah, so it was all like neon, you know, like hair ponytail to the side,
Yeah.
like shirt clips.
Yeah. So I feel like you have a good understanding of like the transition from the 80s to 90s. Do you think?
Probably.
Like roller skating.
Yeah, it just went from like neon to like grunge,
Okay.
I guess.
And there's still like a little bit of like neon, like hang on in the 90s of like, well, no, it's only 92. Like, we're still the 80s holding on.
Yeah.
But yeah. Are you into grunge music, or were you, or?
Oh, I was into like Nirvana and
Okay.
All
like,
right.
I don't know, Blind Melon. I remember like listening to
Yeah.
lots of that.
Yeah, it's crazy you mentioned Nirvana and Blind Melon because back when I was a teenager and kind of like trying to go through the musical lore, American, recent music history, Cobain, etc. One writer wrote that if Kurt Cobain hadn't died, then the Blind Melon lead singer's death would have been like the big sad moment of grieving. And who knows, maybe it would have been Lane Staley with Alice in Chains. But, it's like if Kurt Cobain hadn't been the big, like momentous rock star death of that time,
Yeah.
that person suggested that it might have been Blind Melon. Because I think the Blind Melon guy OD'd on heroin.
I think so.
And it's just like, heroin's not like a new problem. Like it's been a problem for a long time.
Yeah.
The rock stars have been struggling with the feeling and like
Don't
chasing.
do it.
Right, yeah, don't do it. Don't.
Yeah.
As Pete Davidson says, just smoke weed.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he's like, it's not don't do drugs, it's just smoke
Do
weed.
you
Like
think
don't.
he smoked weed?
I'm pretty sure he smoked weed a time or two, maybe a time or 2 million, 2,000.
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson, yeah.
Do you think? No,
What about him?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't know him. I've never smoked with him, so.
Would you want to?
Yeah, I think it would be a
That
good
could be
time.
a fun question for.
Yo, you like Pete Davidson? You want to blaze with him?
Light one up.
What's that?
Light one up.
Light
with the
one
guy.
up. Light one up with the homies. All right, Courtney. Any other mysteries of the universe that you feel you have insight to?
Mysteries of the universe?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always on that quest, to be
Okay.
honest with you. I'm like, just always like doing weird self-improvement
Okay.
stuff.
And okay, so
Nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong with that. We support self-improvement. We support development and growth.
Yeah.
We want to encourage ourselves to,
And our
continue
viewers.
to flourish. We all want to flourish.
Yes.
And yeah, I think I've understood that you're like a very grounded, kind of stable person, but I am curious about, I don't know, just like your approach to things, because you do, as you've revealed to us, like you have some depth and you think about things. And you and I have talked about dating and dating various people in the past, but I don't think you've had a boyfriend in the time, or any kind of partner
Yeah.
in the time that we've known each other. Is that correct? Or maybe?
Well, I did date somebody for like, I think it was like 8 months.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in there.
Okay. So
A couple
you're-
years ago. Yeah,
Right.
it was like 2 years ago.
Was that when I was there?
I guess so.
Nice.
Okay. So that's interesting. Like I didn't know that you've,
Yeah.
seen someone for 8 months, pretty significant amount of time to
Yeah.
where, like, I would say like that is a relationship.
Yeah.
I personally would hope that an 8 month thing, you would be, like working towards something and not just like, oh, it's been 8 months, like
Yeah.
casual dating. And it's like,
Yeah.
nah, it's not really.
Yeah. That was
Um,
definitely.
so yeah, I don't know. Do you have any like insights into the dating
I think dating has been really challenging here.
in Wilmington?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if, I'm sure it's challenging lots of places, but I don't know if it's like my age, or if it's Wilmington, or if it's me, or if it's all three of those. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think Wilmington's a very good dating scene.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a huge city.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big city. Like, I don't even really think it's a city.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to demean it, but to me, it's like an overgrown town.
Mm-hmm.
Or a microscopic city, but like,
Yeah.
hey, let's get the Jackson microscope fund out here. And, like,
Yes.
Send him some money.
Send him some money. But, yeah, I don't know. And I don't want to, like, dog the population and, like, diminish the population here. But, like, it's a lot of, like, single parents. Have you noticed that?
I mean, I'd say a lot of the guys that I come across, well, the majority have kids. So I don't know that they're, I don't know, single parents.
You'd hope there's
technically.
Right, yeah, you'd hope they're single
just
at that
like-
point, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could tell you some stories. But,
Right, yeah, I think this is story time. Yeah, if you don't want to tell the story, that's fine. But,
yeah, no, I've just come across some weird stuff.
right,
For
yeah,
sure.
me
Where
too.
I'm like, oh my gosh, why are
What are you
people
doing?
lying so
Why
much?
are people lying, dude? So
Yes.
I will tell a little brief story here. I was invited to someone's house in the past couple of years, and she told me she was alone and her kids were there. And it's like, what are you doing?
What?
Why is your son, like, we were in the backyard just, like, you know, drinking some wine, and then her son is like 3 or 4 years old, is like knocking on the glass window, and I'm just like, yeah, I shouldn't be here. Like, why did you tell me you're alone? Like,
Wow.
yeah.
And your son is like 3 and is just
Oh,
like
God,
like
whatever.
hanging out by himself.
No, I mean, they were like upstairs sleeping, like, but, you know, the kids know when there's a disturbance in the force.
But you didn't know that she had kids.
I mean, I knew she had kids, but
Oh,
she told
okay.
me she was
Oh.
alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saying she's not even counting kids as people.
I mean, she,
I got
she
you.
probably
Yeah.
just wanted some company. And, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't any foul play. Like, she sat on my lap and, like, we kissed a little bit, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't, like, anything that, you know, like, crazy
Yeah.
or, like, you know, intimate.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was, like, eventually I was like, yeah, I'm going to go. And then we've never really seen each other since, so there's that.
Dang.
Yeah.
Was she nice?
Yeah, lovely lady. I just wish she was more
How old was
honest.
she?
What?
How old was she?
We don't need to give out details. So
Yes, we do.
no, we don't, because some of the, I mean, obviously just saying a person's number of age is like, whatever. But she also lied on the internet about her age, and she listed herself 5 years younger than she was. Because at the time we were the same age. I was like, oh, I didn't think we were the same age.
I see.
And then she's just like, oh, hee hee. I was like, yeah.
I know. I don't understand it. So I was like, I just try to be. I'm like, okay, where am I not being honest with myself? I need to get into alignment so that I stop attracting these people who are like not right for me.
Get into alignment. I like that.
So yeah, it's definitely been a journey, and I've like quit many times. I've been on and off those dating sites where I'm
right.
like, I'm not doing it. I'll like quit for like a year.
Yeah, right.
I'll go back on. Like go on 1 or 2 dates and then I'm like, yeah, I'm quitting again.
Right, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's very spotty.
It could be bleak. It could be bleak.
Yeah, I just had an interesting thing happen like a couple days ago.
On the internet.
Yeah, on the internet, of course, where everything happens. Where I was talking to a guy, and then it had been a couple weeks, but I wasn't, so it's kind of slow. But I was also like dealing with like some health stuff with my back and having like this nasty cold and
Right.
stuff. So I was like, I can't even like really go on a date anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'm not feeling well. And it was just like, okay, is this guy gonna like ask me out or not?
Beating around the bush.
Yeah, I'm like, it's been like 3 weeks, like what? And it's not like we were talking every day too. He didn't even have my phone number. We were just like talking
What?
on the app. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna see what this guy's gonna do. So finally he's like, hey, you wanna go out for a coffee or a beer or something? And I was like, yeah, sure. We can do that. And so chit chat a little bit more, and then a couple days go by. It's Friday, as in last Friday.
Right.
And I was like, hey, how you doing? Like, how's your week been going? And he's like, yeah, good. Do you have any plans for the weekend? And I was like, well, Saturday is like kind of the only day that I have off that like most of the rest of the population has off.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, if you want to meet up on Saturday, I'm free. And so he was like, yeah, do you want to grab a coffee or a beer? And so right now I've been kind of taking a break from drinking for a little bit. It's been about a month, so I'm just kind of seeing what happens. So I was like, yeah, let's grab a coffee then, you know? Because I was like, let me see what it's like to date without alcohol. This is going to be an interesting challenge for me personally.
I support
right?
that. Yeah.
So I was just like, let me see what happens. Like, let's go on a coffee date.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, what time is good for you tomorrow, you know? So I feel like I was kind of like the initiator a little bit, which I normally don't do, but I was like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna do this. And he was like early afternoon. Okay, so I'm like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, like what time?
Yeah, like when I don't know somebody and they're a stranger, it's like I want a set time.
Right. Yeah.
So he was like early afternoon, so I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I don't, like people have different concepts of time. I don't know this person.
Yeah, early afternoon for me is like 2 p.m. Like.
Right, so yeah, I was thinking, is that 1, is it 2, is it 3?
Yeah.
I don't know, sometime around there, right? But like I still want to like nail down the time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's Saturday. Okay, we don't get a time on Friday. Now it's Saturday.
Okay.
It's 11 a.m. and I'm like, why isn't this dude stepping up?
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, text him again. Like this is all I say text, but it's just through the dating app text.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, what time? You know, what time is good for you today? And then he was like, oh, I don't know. I'm like running some errands and have some family stuff to do. What time is good for you? And I was like 2, you know? And then I was getting a weird vibe, right? I'm getting this really bad vibe. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give him like an out. So I was like, I don't know, maybe 2. I said, or, you know, if today isn't good for you, that's fine as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, it's
Right.
not that big of a deal.
It's not
Like,
that big
you're a
of a deal.
stranger.
I'm not gonna be heartbroken over spilled milk.
No. Yeah, and then he came back and he said, okay, so I live here. This guy lived in Porter's Neck.
Okay.
Okay, so, like, I have to drive potentially, we both have to drive potentially, like, a little bit, right?
Right,
So we
yeah.
were going to meet in the middle for the coffee date,
Yeah. Right.
you know? So I was like, that was my idea. It was like, let's meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So then he comes back and he's like, how about dinner at K38 in Porter's Neck?
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't really
As long as he's paying.
want to do that because, like, I have to drive, like what? He has to drive across the street?
Right. Yeah.
Like, get off your couch, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
whoa, you seem lazy, dude. You know?
Lazy
So I was
Germans.
like, okay, I'll do it, you know? So I was like, okay. Then, still no time. So
Right,
I was
yeah.
like, that's it, I'm done. Like, I'm not
Yeah. Right.
texting
right.
you anymore to find out about a time.
Yeah.
Like, you're the dude, come on,
Yeah.
step up. So like, time went by that day, and like, nothing, right? And I was like, okay, like, this is super weird. Like, this has never actually happened to me before. And then I go on the app, and he has like either deleted me or blocked me, because like the conversation is like gone.
Okay.
And I was like, this is super weird, and
Yeah.
I feel like I was saved,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
amount of time of my life, like, not meeting this person.
Right.
But it was bizarre, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, it's-
like, this is really, like, wow. I was like, wow, this is new.
Yeah, and so beyond like, oh, there's a lot of single parents, like there's just a lot of flaky, like the apps have made us so flaky, and maybe it's not just the apps, but just like the phone culture, to where we can
Yeah.
like get so many things immediately, like we can get directions so quickly, like we
Yeah.
don't have to like plan out directions and like travel as much anymore.
You know how much I despise flakiness.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do try to work on that. That's one thing. I'm like, okay, if I say I'm going to do something, like, I do it.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Gotta have integrity. Gotta stay true to our word.
Yeah. Like, doing this
Um,
today was like coming out of my comfort zone, because I've
Alright.
never
We appreciate
done any
that.
podcasts or like
Neither have we.
speaking like this. So this is, you know, I was like, yeah, I want to do new stuff, you know, even if it like freaks me out a little bit or scares me. Like, that's how you grow,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
thanks for being on. Yeah, this is good, and it's not scary, right? We're
No,
just
it's great.
chatting in a
Yeah.
room. Like,
Yeah.
sure, there's a camera, but like, it's fine. We got cameras on our faces all the
I mean,
time.
there's
Yeah.
probably gonna be a whole 6 viewers, like.
Hey man, we're taking over YouTube. Actually, we're taking over
We're the next
YouTube.
Mr. Beast, calling it now.
He's right up the road. Actually, we can go see him in Greenville.
That would actually be really fun.
Hello.
I would love to do that.
All right. We talked about marshmallows and the meaning of life. Those are our two go-tos. Do we have any
Go-to.
other
Okay,
any
got
other
it.
stones we need to turn over, Jackson? You think while we have Courtney on the line?
I don't know. Are there any stones that you need to turn over?
Just the stones I throw.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So no other nuggets of wisdom or anything you feel compelled to be like the internet needs to know.
Yeah, just trying to see beauty everywhere.
See beauty everywhere. I
Yeah.
like that. I love that a lot, actually. All right. I think we might put a cap on this one.
Okay.
We'll put a
Follow
cap.
that.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
We gotta say, like, share, and subscribe, of course.
Like, share, subscribe.
Subscribe and
Put some W's in the chat.
hey, dubs in the chat all day. Roll Feng Swab. We'll see you later.